Good morning. It's Thursday, the 11th of January. The public inquiry into how hundreds of former sub-postmasters were prosecuted based on evidence from a faulty IT system resumes today.
This follows the Prime Minister's announcement to overturn hundreds of convictions after the ITV drama raised the profile of the scandal.
Now, Ben joins us from outside the inquiry. Ben, morning to you. So it's resuming. What will we hear in terms of evidence today?
There'll be a lot of attention on it in a week where developments have moved quickly after years of very slow progress. We've heard, haven't we, that the Prime Minister will introduce swift new laws to overturn all the remaining convictions, as well as giving compensation to the victims of this scandal. There will be a lot of attention on proceedings in the inquiry today. But remember, it's been hearing evidence since February 2022. In the current phase, it's focusing specifically on the action that was taken against those sub-postmasters. And today, it will hear evidence and question one of the former investigators, part of the team whose work led to hundreds of those sub-postmasters around the UK being prosecuted and convicted for crimes they didn't commit.
I haven't got that money, and I don't know where it's gone.
Jo Hamilton, the sub-postmistress portrayed in the recent ITV drama, has played a key role in the fight for justice. She told BBC Breakfast her story back in March 2020.
14 times I had to plead guilty. You just wanted to scream, but I'd been told that I had to look like I was sorry, and I just couldn't explain it. The whole thing was crazy.
And 2 days later, a powerful committee of MPs promised they'd investigate.
We will be launching an inquiry next week to try and get some answers and to try and get some justice for people like Seema and Jo, but hundreds of others in the same position.
That was 4 years ago. Do you remember how you felt when the announcement of the MP's inquiry was made live on Breakfast?
Wow, it's so exciting. At least somebody somewhere is taking us seriously, you know, which up until then, nobody was really listening.
That MP's inquiry led to the bigger public inquiry that resumes today. A statutory public inquiry like this one is a big deal. It has the full backing of the law to make witnesses attend and face questions even if they don't want to. It can't punish anyone, but it can point the finger where it thinks people and organisations have failed or acted badly. And ultimately, it's about getting to the truth of what really happened and who was involved. And that matters, as one wrongly jailed branch manager told us on yesterday's BBC Breakfast special.
You're going to the inquiry, are you?
I am, yes.
What will you be telling the inquiry?
I'm not. I'm actually watching one of my investigators who helped sent me to prison.
To hear them give evidence?
Give evidence, yeah, tomorrow.
And what are you expecting to hear? What do you want to hear? What do you need to hear?
I've brought a notepad just to write down. I don't recall, I don't remember. I'm going to calculate just to see how many times he says it.
How important is it to see the Post Office's own investigators be quizzed and appear before the inquiry?
Well, I personally found it very cathartic. I enjoyed watching them squirm a bit, and I think it's good for you to see them put on the rack just like we were put on the rack in the Crown Court, because I know how it felt when he was round here at the House accusing me.
Mr. Speaker, this is one of the greatest miscarriages of justice in our nation's history.
The Prime Minister's now announced a new law that'll overturn all remaining convictions. And the 555 postmasters who took the Post Office to the High Court in 2019 and won will get an upfront payment of £75,000.
They have lost everything. They've lost houses, livelihoods, shops, businesses, you know, and to think that £75,000 is actually enough. To an average member of the public, they would think that's a lot of money, but actually, when you look at what people have lost, it's absolutely nothing. You know, I think they missed the naught off the end, personally.
Well, if you want to hear more from Janet Skinner and those 9 sub-postmasters in that BBC Breakfast special, it's available on the BBC iPlayer right now. And when you follow the proceedings that are going on in there today, you'll hear detailed questions, complicated legal language. At times it may well seem rather confusing. Just remember, at the very heart of this is one simple aim: to get to the truth about what happened, about how and why the state-owned post office used its power over 2 decades to relentlessly pursue hundreds of innocent men and women, leading to many of them losing their businesses, their homes, their reputations, in some cases their liberty and even their lives. That is why what's happening in there today matters so much to all of them.
Of course, Ben, thank